Hey, everybody. Welcome. Here we are. It is, I said October, April 19th, 2022. Tom and Q Show, episode 10. We are here. We are live. We're only 13 minutes late today, which is...
And we've got sound.
Clearly becoming our MO, running a few minutes behind because you know we can talk and we get here and we start doing just that, just talking. So we're here, we're live, we're alert, we feel great. We're coming off of a gluttony of an Easter weekend.
Yes. How'd you eat?
Oh, I don't know if I stopped yet. I'm dead serious. Like I've been on a pretty, I don't want to say entirely strict, but at least through the week, pretty strict. And like Sunday just...
I think I ate as much Sunday as I did the entire week
throughout the
combined.
whole week. Yeah.
Yeah, I threw down, and family friend showed up, and she had some deviled eggs with real bacon chopped up, put on top with a jalapeno pepper sliced, and oh man, I was like, man, that looks pretty good. So I threw it down and threw another one down. I was like, just walk away.
So I'm not a deviled egg person.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for like the tradition of decorating eggs and, you know, hard-boiled eggs, and like not really a huge fan. Like I like maybe a little bit of hard-boiled egg, like on a salad. I don't mind.
Right.
But like deviled eggs, like whatever's in that devilish sauce, whatever.
Mayonnaise.
Yep.
That's basically it. You just take it, mix it up with some mayonnaise and
Ugh.
paprika or something. I don't know what they season it with, but
I'm glad you told me that, because deviled eggs are not.
That's why they never worked for you.
So last week we talked a lot about getting into kind of Easter. We talked a lot about Reds opening day, kind of podcast stats, right? And we're kind of here now. We're fishing, I guess, a little bit, but we have some topics to get to. But let's just jump in and see where we are from last week.
I remember New Year's going into 2000. We lived on Burgundy Court. We had a pajama jam for New Year's. Everybody came dressed in their pajamas. Man, it was an eventful night. It was a lot of fun. But this song, obviously, going into the new millennium, was played constantly.
So we're gonna skip podcast stats today.
All right.
And we'll just go behind the curtain here. Remember I told you how my card was stolen?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently that card was on our podcast thing. So until I update that, I've been suspended.
Oh, all right.
So don't worry. We'll get to our 9 or 10 listeners.
Downloaders.
Podcast people. Shortly. That'll be done shortly after the show. So we'll do a recap of that next week. Everything was going so smooth. I never even thought about that, but that son of a gun got me here too.
What?
So he's not only affected me, now he has affected you.
And he's affected our audience.
And he's affected
keeping up with our stats.
Else. Yeah.
And I know there's someone out there with an Excel spreadsheet just tracking, and it's like an EKG of
you're gonna have
of our shows.
You're gonna have a blip in there.
Yes, every time we talk neurology and brain and science, we get increased. When we don't, we don't. So sorry for
one of the many things that we don't check before the show is if this will actually go smooth or not. We just kind of go on the fly.
Yep.
Yeah, that didn't go very smooth. I looked at him like, suspended for what? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, crap. All right.
Yeah.
So,
jerks.
Yeah, that's what happens. You got me. You got me again. I don't know if I'm hoping that'll be the last time, but I'm not 100% sure that it will be. You know, because it's like I was talking with somebody over the weekend, and we all kind of cut the cord at the same time, whether it was DirecTV, cable, whatever service it was.
Right.
And like, he made the comment that he went back to, he got a good deal through, I don't know, one of the cable companies, and I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, that's not a terrible deal. But I'm like, and I don't know if you guys are the same way that we are, but like, we've got subscription services, like subscription services that I don't even know We might even have multiple. I almost guarantee we have multiple.
Without question. Like epics and just different things that are like subcategories of like Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to watch this. Download it free for a week. Yeah, sure. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Did you cancel that?
Nope.
Oh, no.
I'm still paying for NFL Red Zone channel, I think.
Oops.
Yeah. NFL hasn't played a game on the Red Zone channel since the first week of January. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's we'll have to clean that up.
What do you got for Netflix? You know, you got that should be a game. Is what subscriptions? Just try to name the subscriptions. We got Netflix. We've got Amazon Prime, Hulu, YouTube TV, Disney.
So the clickbait of neurology and science got me. So I'm watching a lot of documentaries on human emotions and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll do this free for a week because it'll let you play episode 1, and it's like 6 episodes in that series, and you're like, oh man, that was pretty good. I'll get the subscription. I'll watch it and watch a few more, and it's like, that's pretty good. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
It's gone.
$6.
So it's like
you got me $6 every month.
I almost would want maybe this could be like a whole new job for somebody, basically to organize other people's
accounts.
Yeah,
their subscription.
What if you could take all of your accounts and put them into like one, like
one
Q,
bill?
We'll call it Q Vision.
Yeah.
So
I like the name.
You as a company would be in charge of bundling, going into saying, okay, you no longer have to log into all these subscription services. No, we're going to see if this happens because I'm going to speak it to. You log into Q Vision.
We speak it first, and then we get
which
royalties.
Will automatically log you into your Netflix, your Pandora, your Hulu's.
You cut one check to Q Vision, and Q disperses it like an escrow account for your mortgage.
Correct. Yeah, I actually like the idea.
I love it.
Because my problem would be if I went back
and then it's like, wait a second, why am I paying $180 a month on this stuff?
Right.
Well, this $6, this $6, this $12,
Correct.
this $8. Oh, well, get rid of those little sidebar.
Can I get them? And a lot of the caveats to that too is using like the Reds, for example, because we were going through this yesterday. You know, my parents, like they still have cable, and they'll never cut the cord because it's easier. Sure. You want to watch Channel 5, you turn on Channel 5, right? And YouTube TV is kind of similar to that. Like it looks like a cable provided thing. But like trying to watch the Reds game, because YouTube TV, when they switch from Fox Sports Ohio to Bally's, another way that MLB has completely screwed people. So if you don't have a cable subscription, a DirecTV, Fioptics, whatever, name your provider, you can't just go to ballysports.com and watch the Reds game.
Right.
You've got to enter in, like a lot of these apps, who your cable. Well, I don't need the app I shouldn't need the app if I have the cable. Right.
We tried YouTube TV and we shut it down, and we're back to Hulu, which we like. But ESPN has partnered up with it now, so they're all starting to marry one another. And so we had ESPN Plus, but now that we've got Hulu, I go to Hulu and watch Pages games, which is awesome. Most of the time they're on there. When we try to do everything you're talking about with YouTube TV, it's like, I want to watch this. It's like, oh, I don't. And that's what we were talking about earlier, like the subscription of the subscription, and it's just like.
So ESPN Plus, like I have ESPN. It's another subscription. ESPN Plus.
Yep.
Like I have ESPN Plus, and I got that. Like some of them, you can use YouTube TV as your provider.
Right.
And ESPN Plus was like that. So was there was a couple other things that most of them were like that. Bally's was not.
Right.
Like you would think like MLB would want more people
watching
to be able to watch it. Yeah. Especially they're getting buku dollars for their TV rights. You would think that would be important to them. It's not. So I have my ways around it. Thankful to family and friends. But so we're sitting down here. We're trying to watch the Reds game. It was Easter. And I'm trying to explain to my dad how easy like YouTube TV is. Well, YouTube TV is easy. Mm-hmm. You ever get those apps where it's like they just don't work right ever? Like you have to go through It's kind of like if you had a Nintendo game growing up and you knew the first time you did it, it was never going to work.
Yeah.
So every time before you put the game in there, you blew on it, put it in, it worked fine. So Bally's is the same way. I have to basically restart my Fire Stick every single time for it to actually work.
Interesting.
Well, I did it, and it didn't work. Didn't work. And he's laughing at me. Yeah, see how easy it is to watch? I'm like, I knew this was coming, Plus, I'm not real happy with my...
More importantly than that frustration, what is it like watching a Reds game?
Let's hold that. Because that's...
So you went through...
Much like a news broadcast, we kind of hold sports to the end.
Yeah.
Right?
So I shared a meme with Paige yesterday because she was laughing at me last year for taking up golf. And it says, golf is a nice, relaxing way to get really frustrated and disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a nice, relaxing Sunday watching the Reds and get extremely disappointed and frustrated.
It's similar to a feeling, I guess, probably, I don't know, I guess it would be 20-something years ago that fans around here had with the Bengals.
Yep.
I don't get frustrated. It's a lot of times I just get more confused.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make... I digress. I could talk about that and other things other decisions and such that confuse me. So, anyway.
So, Easter Sunday food. Ate good.
So, what did you have?
I had ham and ham and ham.
Triple ham.
Double ham, but I ate a lot of it.
What type of ham?
Well, there were two, and it's kind of a funny story because I'm sitting at Jessica's aunt's house. We're sitting down. She's got the island. Everything's coming out. All the
lot
food,
of people?
Spread. There was about 12, 13.
Okay.
So they're setting everything out. I love ham. Take off a little piece, and I'm like, man, that's pretty good ham.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bring another ham out. So Jessica's aunt made one, and then her cousin brought one. And I'm looking at the color and the juiciness, and I grabbed that, and I was like, oh. So I get up and I hugged her cousin. Like, that was unbelievable. That was an unbelievable ham. And then Jessica's aunt was, so you don't like mine? I was like, I never said that.
It's all good.
But of the two, yeah, you finished second.
So
a nice, tight second.
We may have talked about this last week, kind of when we were talking about, like, Easter traditions. So you would be in the camp of, like, ham is an Easter staple.
Yeah, yeah.
What about...
So I know you mixed it up.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Oh, it was great.
Good.
It was great. Let's stick with the ham.
Okay.
Because I have some questions surrounding the ham. And I like ham.
Yes.
But much like Thanksgiving, you have your turkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other day throughout the year, does anybody make a bird?
Oh, no.
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 So let's talk about the ham. Any other day, does anybody get that big, giant, spiral cut, honey glazed ham?
I would say I bet there are, like, I know this is your favorite meal, so I'm going to make it for your birthday.
That's a lot of ham for somebody's birthday.
That is, but I bet they get a smaller one, a smaller portion, just kind of a family type.
Like a baby pig?
Yeah. I bet that is a thing, because ham, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great question.
Maybe Christmas. You give a Christmas ham.
Christmas
I've
ham.
had that.
Yep.
It's
Christmas
good.
ham, Easter ham.
So my brother is allergic to poultry. So growing up, there always had to be, which was always kind of nice because you got, I like a lot of flavor. So
Yep.
you get the bird, and then a lot of times he'd either get there'd be some type of beef or ham, something else that he could get.
I hated turkey as a kid, so my mom would always make a small ham for me at Thanksgiving. So we always had it as well. I wasn't allergic, but I couldn't stand turkey. So I was spoiled with ham 3 times a year.
So I enjoy turkey on Thanksgiving, and I'll have some of it, like on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey on Easter, it
just doesn't make sense.
No, I'm with you. So we've kind of, since we host a couple of different holidays here, we've done things a little bit different, sometimes on the fly, but usually a lot of times what makes the meal isn't always the main course. What types of sides did you have at your Easter?
Oh, what did we have? A lot of veggies, man. There was a really good asparagus. There was broccoli cheddar. There's some corn. There was some green beans. There was
I feel like green beans is always a staple of a holiday.
yeah. You know what? I think it's underrated too, man. You get some good green beans in there.
They have chunks of ham in there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Deviled eggs,
No,
which
ow.
which we talked about earlier. They had little bacon chunks on it and a jalapeno on it, which was absolutely delicious. I'm trying to think what else. Desserts, obviously. There was like a pineapple cake thing that was amazing, and then a poke cake where you make it, put a straw in it, and then you pour Jello down the straw, and that will fill up in the cake, and you cook it. You've never had a poke cake?
No.
Tom, I'm gonna make you a poke cake. It is unbelievable, juicy, moist. Just yeah. When you
I've
cook
never
it, you
even heard
just
of it.
you inject Jello into the batter as it's cooking, and it's well, not as it's cooking, but after it's out. I think I don't know. Jessica makes them because
So-
it's my favorite way to eat a cake.
Is there like a layer of Jello?
No, it's so when
Or
you
just
put like
like
the
the
straw in
powder?
and you pour it. No, it's the Jello. It's the liquid Jello. So
Okay, yeah,
when you make
yeah.
your Jello, it's liquid, and you pour it into a straw, and that just kind of bleeds into the cake,
Mm-hmm.
and it's absolutely amazing. I will have Jessica make a poke cake.
That's a yeah. That sounds delicious.
It's unbelievable. So that's we had one of those. It was the icing is Cool Whip and
Cool what?
Cool Whip,
Did you say cool whip?
Cool Whip,
Whip?
Whip,
Cool whip?
and strawberries on top, and yeah, it's a great way to eat cake.
I didn't know there was a bad way to eat cake, but that sounds like a really
There's
good way
good and better and great.
to eat cake.
You know, when you go to like a birthday party, it's like, oh, this cake's good. What do you think about the icing? Who cares?
Well, it's Cool Whip.
Right.
That's the one white like flavor type stuff. Like I can get behind a Cool Whip,
Yeah.
you know. But
So yeah, we'll make you a poke cake.
All
And
right. So you had a couple of hams. You had some. What about any mashed potatoes?
Yes, there were mashed potatoes. Yes.
Chunky mashed potatoes?
I like chunky. These were not, but that is how I typically skin still on it.
Any type of
Chunky.
gravy?
Was there a gravy? I don't remember. No, I don't think
Okay.
there was a gravy.
Because I like a good Easter ham. No don't need the gravy. Because I will take.
Yeah,
We
you
talked
don't
about
put
this
gravy
before.
on.
Take a piece of ham, stab a green bean into the mashed potatoes, into the mouth. Delicious. No need.
Nicole said she would definitely mess up that cake.
No, yeah. Well,
I believe in you, Nicole.
that's what I said. I told you, Watkins. I can get behind a Cool Whip icing, but if it's a mayonnaise icing, a cream cheese icing,
Mayonnaise icing?
No.
Oh.
it's funny. I told you about.
Oh, Tom, what are you doing?
No. I couldn't touch it, but
So-
I could tell the difference. But I've seen because I fall into these.
So funny that when they had the icing on it, because it had set in the refrigerator, and I got out, and it didn't look like Cool Whip.
Whip.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what kind of icing is this? And Sherry was like, I don't know. Somebody brought it, and I'm like, well, I'm a little nervous because I don't want any like cream cheese
Yep.
icing or like sour, like I don't know, like different things that people are doing with like these diet icing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so
If I'm eating cake, I want to know I'm eating cake.
the girls started laughing because they know my
Yeah.
white like yogurt. I was like, this looks like almost like a yogurt, and I was like, I was terrified, and they were like, Quentin, just quit, you're being ridiculous, and I was like, oh, you wait till I throw up.
Yeah,
and
give me
you'll
more
see."
mashed potatoes.
So I'm like, I was so scared, Tom. I
wouldn't have done it.
was like, oh, okay, that's sweet, and I took a bite, and I was like, oh. But I was so tense. I was so nervous.
been there.
Jessica was laughing at me because it looked difficult. I guess just because of how long it's set in the refrigerator, the icing itself just kind of settled. But yeah, it was super sweet. It was amazing.
So I fall into these holes, like whether it's on Facebook, TikTok, whatever. The moment I see somebody cooking something, right, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's see it. I watch, and I watch. Basically, until they put cream cheese or like mayonnaise into it. It's like, nah, flip, Go to the next one.
Yep.
You
Yes,
know?
Nicole, that is by far my favorite cake on the planet is carrot cake.
Not with cream cheese.
Yeah,
Oh, God, it's gross.
it's unbelievable.
No, it's disgusting. I'm more on the, was it poke cake? Yeah, I'm more on the poke cake bandwagon with the nice strawberry icing on top of it.
Yep. We'll make you one, man. I'll bring it.
So I would fall into these holes, and there was one, this person was baking a cake. I'm like, oh, okay. Watch them bake a cake. Or get to the icing. Whatever other ingredient, and then they took like Hellman's mayonnaise and put it in there. And apparently that does something to it.
Yeah,
Makes it
disgusting.
gross, if you ask me.
It ruins it, is what it does to it.
So that's exactly, I was like, oh, who does that? That's disgusting. Like, butter, great. You know, chocolate, great. Milk, fine. Whatever, whatever. Heavy whipping cream, yeah, put it in there. I'm fine with that too. You put mayonnaise in there?
We gotta change the subject.
You've ruined whatever it is.
You've ruined my existence.
So what we did is we had, we usually have like the mixed family, like kind of both sides, whatever. And originally, like everybody was coming.
Yep.
And with baseball and work and everything else, just Easter just kind of was like, bam, here it is. It's here. I'm like, oh shoot. So like my sister-in-law would send a text message like, hey, what are we bringing? What are you making for Easter? I'm like, well, when is Easter? Isn't that like 2 weeks away? And Nicole's like, no, it's like next week. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
like,
Jessica said that like there's Easter Sunday. I'm like, yeah, I knew.
I'm like, I don't know. So like she had to go to Sam's. So like we go to Sam's. I'm like, and again, I'm that guy that I'm like, Sam's is tough, but I've got that wandering eye that's just like, oh, what is that? Like, who needs that much ranch dressing? Like, who needs that much this? And then it's like, oh, samples. And it's like you keep going, and then I get down to like the meat aisle, and I'm like, and I'm literally just walking, like, maybe I'll find something here in the meat aisle that can make. So I'm just kind of cruising along. Christmas, I ordered like for Christmas Eve, we have kind of a small get together, so I did a prime rib out on the Traeger. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I hadn't really done beef. I've done pork a lot. That was kind of the first time with beef. And I'm walking through, I'm like, and I saw this beef tenderloin, and this sucker, I'm not kidding you, was 2 feet long. 2 feet long, about that thick.
Wow.
Most areas, huge. And everybody's coming. I'm like, yeah, shoot, man. And then there's like more people. Like, we'll be there. I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be enough. So I got a pork tenderloin, which was much, much smaller, and figured out a way to kind of do both at the same time, because pork cooks a little bit different, meat cooks a little bit different. You're talking about smoking it and doing all these different things. It's like, okay, how do I mix both of these so I'm not trying to manage multiple times, and the grill I have isn't the easiest to like shut down, start over. Like it needs it's a process. It's easy, but
it's a process.
And so, that morning I'm up there. I'm trimming off both tenderloins. I'm cleaning them off. I'm rubbing my meat. Got it, right?
Cliches.
Yep. And I've got this one of my favorite appliances we have that I don't know. It took me like a year to actually pull it out and use it. Sorry, that's not where I was going with that. But that's what we should do from now on. Anytime it goes south, or it could go south, one of those that's what she said moments.
8th grader.
Yeah.
So that was perfect. Tommy Watkins on it simultaneously to you. Boom.
So, is a vacuum sealer.
All right.
Okay, so it comes with bags and stuff that you can create your own bag, and you seal it up. So anytime that I'm rubbing any type of meat, right, I instead of like letting it sit there or whatever, I will actually put that, like I took that beef tenderloin and put it in the vacuum sealer, had the rub on it, everything, sealed it up super tight, and it keeps the rub on the meat, keeps it fresh, keeps it moist, and then I put it in the fridge. So I did both of those, and I pull it out. It's also good for like, how many potato chip bags or snack bags do you have and you've got the clothespin on them?
Yep.
And then you pull it out, it's like, oh, it's stale. Like, it works great with like, we have shredded lettuce in our, Like I take it and I seal it right back up. Like I don't like you don't have to vacuum seal it.
All
You
right.
can actually seal the bag.
Yep.
So it's nice. Well, we've eliminated, or at least I try to eliminate the use of clothespins other than hanging clothes, which we don't do anymore.
So clothespins are eliminated.
They are now extinct. They're going the way of the dodo bird, right? So anyway, I'm smoking all this stuff up, and man, I walk in, and like there was people that started, and then we had a couple people cancel, right? And I walk into the house, and I got the whiff of the beef smoking outside and the pork, and it's under control. And I got the TV outside. I'm watching horse racing. I'm losing money. It's great, I'm having a blast. And I walk in, and then there is just sides galore, and like it smelled so good upstairs. Like there was a big old thing of mashed potatoes. There was
this visual portrait that you've got going right now.
It was all
beautiful.
It was all delicious. And then my mother-in-law changed something up. She did a mac and cheese.
Okay.
Which I know she's not listening right now, but this will get back to her. But she did it with not just your regular mac and cheese noodles. They had like a different shape to them.
Okay.
Like almost like you would buy a kid, right? Like picture like Flintstone vitamins, but it was like,
all right.
So
Yeah.
So it had different shapes. It was a different texture. And then I don't even know what the heck was in it. I'm pretty sure. Don't
cheese.
Tell me if it was cream cheese or anything like that. Let's just leave that alone. But I ate it. I said, man, that was really good. Then my mom did she brought over asparagus that was like this garlic, a big old thing of like garlic asparagus, put it in there. And then my sister-in-law had mashed potatoes, and then there was salad. And like, I'm sitting there, I'm just eating, and I'm like, then you had the beef, and then like, you got to get the pork. And I'm like, everything came off. I pretended like I was the guy at Old Country Buffet as they would go through. I'm like, beef or pork? And I'd slice.
That's awesome.
Is that good? Is that good? And I'd hand it over.
It was bunny shaped.
It was delicious is what it was.
That's creative.
Yeah. It was really good. Everything was really good. That just kind of stuck out. That and the beef was amazing, which I was really proud of myself, because when you do something for the first time and you put the pressure of,
yes,
it's like, okay, 347-111 on speed dial. Worst case, right? Or get the hamburgers out. We're all grilling out today,
Yes.
And then there was some cake, and like Easter's just loaded, with sweets, because the kids get their baskets and they're just constantly eating candy all day long.
Did you guys do an Easter egg hunt in New York?
They did. So just Carson actually had to work, which is a whole different kind of topic. But so he works at Quaker Steak, and he's a busser. And it's baseball season, so he only works. He doesn't have any games on Sunday currently, so he only works one day a week, and he works a double. So he'll go in at noon and get off, or one, whenever, and work basically till close. Makes pretty good money. But on Easter, they had him working a double. And it's like, you can't, for Easter, how busy is it going to be? Like, you couldn't cut it in half. Like, hey, take the second half, take the first half. So he wasn't here. And so, that freed up more meat for the meat lovers, right? But so he wasn't involved. Obviously, he's 17, not going to be involved in the Easter egg hunt. But yeah, they hid probably 1,000 eggs. I'm sure the next time I cut my grass, there it goes. Like, look out.
It was kind of, speaking of work, it was kind of cool this year, because Jessica, she woke up in time. She always works Easter, and we always go to my family traditionally. Out in Harrison, do the thing, make a plate, and we'll swing back by Bethesda North, stop in, have her a plate of food, and that's kind of one of the Easter traditions, is we always stop by. And when she does work, like Thanksgiving or Christmas, we'll always make a plate from where we're at, and we'll stop in and see her at work. And this year was a little different because she was there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. We all parted Easter dinner, and she went straight to work, and we all went home. But we didn't get our annual trip to the place of employment to drop her a plate of goodies.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm sure she enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm selfish to the point where we left Carson a plate. He did not eat it. He got home so late.
All right.
Right? So, then yesterday, he didn't eat it yesterday, which pretty much makes it fair game, right?
Yeah. It's like a 7-day rule, but
so he's out.
Leftover, so it's a 2-day rule.
So he's out, right? And yeah, they did an Easter egg hunt, tons of Easter eggs. They had a good time with that, but my kids they constantly are at each other.
Yeah.
Right. And Austin said,
that age.
culprit, and Blake is constantly like, no matter if he does it or not, Blake just automatically assumes that he's digging at him. So that was fun, especially when Blake's hopped up on all kinds of candy. I mean, he was bouncing everywhere.
Jelly
I'm
beans,
like, dude, you just
chocolate bunnies.
gotta just settle down. And so, but they did get their traditional Easter baskets. And it's funny because our 12-year-old team that Austin plays on, we've got a couple of kids that they wear the sliding glove. You know that thing where looks like an
I'm
oven
seeing it
mitt.
more and more. Yep.
And so what's hilarious about
Hamilton made that popular.
Yeah.
One of the Reds when he
Yeah.
started using it to slide. Yeah.
And so what's hilarious about that is a couple things. One, they get to first base and it takes them an hour to put this daggone thing on. So to put their glove on, or they don't get lead off, right? So we have to actually tell the on deck batter, like, step out of the box, let them get their thing on, and then when they go into the bag, they totally hit it with the wide open hand instead of the mat. It's like, well, that kind of
So the purpose of that thing is to keep your wrist from jamming up, or
yeah.
okay.
That way you don't hit your fingers in there, you don't jam your wrist.
Because that happens a lot.
It shouldn't at 12 years old, and so I think we all know how trends work.
Yes.
Does it affect anything? Whatever. The best effect that it had was one of our players was batting, and he had it in his back pocket, and he actually got hit on the pad. So there. It's a butt pad. It more serves as a butt pad. So anyway, the Easter Bunny brought them both these hand pads. One, I've never seen either of them even slide head first. Okay. So, but now it's Easter. Before everybody get there,
have you ever worn mittens?
It's exactly what it's like.
So,
but with
wearing mittens,
so
I feel my whole body feels paralyzed for some reason. Like I don't have everything's not working right. So, it's something in my brain shuts down. Like I feel restricted. I'm somewhat claustrophobic. So when my hands are restricted, my fingers are restricted. My whole body feels like. So I couldn't. Me personally, I couldn't like putting that on. I would feel the restriction and through my whole body. I need the freedom.
Explain to you how this thing is built. Okay, like I was watching some of the Reds game last night, and there was a few guys that had them, and they had their thumb was out. Whatever. These do not. Okay, but the way it is situated is you have basically a piece of plastic on one side, a piece of plastic on the other. Okay, and then you have this bowling wrist thingy plastic that bends with your wrist.
Right.
So basically all it is one of those bowling wrist thingies with a pad on both sides. You know the bowling wrist thingy that
100%.
Yeah. If they didn't have the pads on there, it would
So it puts the hand at this shape, so when you hit the base, it's almost
it's
or does it keep it straight?
You can keep it straight, but just by nature, you're not going to go into any type of base flat on. You're going to pick your hand up and try to catch that bag.
Right.
So when you do that, it's to prevent you from jamming your wrist or injuring your hand while doing that. Apparently, like I said, it's also to protect your butt when you're up to play.
Right.
So anyway, they get these two, and Blake is running around. Now he's head first sliding into the couch. He's head first sliding into the chair. And I'm like, all right, you got to calm down. People aren't here yet. And like, do your kids ever do something that just, we talked about like playing basketball in the house, like you get so,
yes.
There's certain things that they do, and it's just like, just stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. So he's got a ping pong ball and this mitt.
Awesome.
And he's just going, ting, 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 ting. I'm like, enough. Stop. And he would work on his sliding again. And it was like, oh my gosh. Like, just, I'm already tensed up because Easter's coming. And once everybody got here,
you just got to let him slide and you drop the elbow on
just slide. Sleeper hold. Yeah. You're out. And then they crashed, right? Unfortunately, they were off the next day, which
that's hilarious.
We went to church in the morning.
So the Easter Bunny likes baseball.
But yeah, they got some cool stuff. Some eye black.
Awesome.
The obvious candy. a video game or so. I think the Easter Bunny did fairly well. I don't, you know, so I think that's kind of our thing is we get up and then we go to church, and we went to church, and it didn't really, the church service didn't bother me. It's your typical Easter service.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that they were talking about, that the pastor was talking about was, obviously the stone had rolled away, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is risen. The stone has rolled away. My favorite part of that story, I mean, obviously that's huge, most important part, but one of my favorite parts of that story is kind of when he goes back and the stone had rolled away, blah, 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 blah. Like, man, you're kind of missing. I was like, I really was kind of hoping he would go into, I like that part.
Yeah.
So I get home, and while I'm prepping my meat, I turn on, I'm like, I wonder if there's any, like, because I love those historical type shows, right? And usually around Easter you can find, the biblical history and those types of things. So I found one, it was just Jesus. And so it's the story of Jesus. And then I turned it on, like right at the time where it was like right at the Last Supper. He talks to Peter. He says, "You're going to deny me 3 times. Oh, I'll never deny you." And then they flash over, and like, here's Peter, like, "No, I don't know that guy." It's like 3 times, like, "No, that's not me." Yeah, right. And then it gets to the point where he's like, "Oh, it's Jesus," and it's like they show him, and it's like, "Oh, okay, I got my fix of the story."
Yeah,
and everything
of the
like,
full story.
But I was kind of waiting for that at the church service, and I know they have their things. I'm like, but man, you got.
Did you wave your hand? Like,
Yeah, excuse me.
Finish
Can you go on?
It's like hang clipper right here. Come on, buddy.
Yeah. So I love that time. So anyway, that was kind of our Easter, our church service, which kind of leads us. We talked about our unsung heroes.
Yeah, which sounds like the Toby Suggs house was you played that role, and it's Aunt Sherry played that role.
Yeah.
So it's the host family for holidays. We do it for Christmas. We all do it for certain holidays, and it's the amount of work that it goes into to getting everything prepped, the cooking, the stress, the anxiety of laying this out, laying that out. Where is this? Last year I put it in this. It's not there right now, but wait, where is it now? Hold on, no, I put it under this. Oh, that's right, I put it here to get it out of the way. So all of that tripping over yourselves to, I found it. I know it's Easter, but let's just use the Christmas cookie sheet.
Right.
We can't find.
Dude, I need you to stop and get me Easter plates, or so that was kind of not only that, but then when you're having people over, you have a whole day like to where it's like, okay, we're cramming all of spring cleaning into one day to get your house ready.
And I guess to hone in a little bit on that unsung hero is the family member at your house that doesn't stop doing dishes, doesn't stop wiping things off, and just they constantly clean.
I like that.
That person is whoever that is. A lot of times it's Jessica's mom. So it's like, hey, invite your mom over more because like she never leaves that area. And like so when the gathering is winding to an end, it's like everything's done. Well, your mom didn't leave the sink the whole time she was here. So thank you.
What about the anti-unsung hero, or the one person that doesn't? That doesn't. I think we all have that one person. Like somebody else will get it.
That guy. The somebody else will get it guy.
That girl.
Ooh. So we're gonna have our unsung hero. We might branch off to the somebody else will get it. The somebody else will get it guy. So you coach ball.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like getting a bucket of balls, getting a net set up, getting everything. Mm-hmm. You have kids on your team that is the somebody else will get it guy.
Oh, both teams.
So if you have a roster of, say, what's a baseball roster? 16 kids?
So the older group, they have 19. The younger group, they only have 11.
So of your 19 roster kids, 18 are somebody else will get it guy.
Well,
You've got one kid on each team that is just like, why do you do everything?
Yeah. Well, we don't let them. So where and how I grew up on the field was you didn't leave the dugout or the area until whatever job you had
Was done.
was done. So if there's trash, you pick it up. If there's baseballs, like the last thing that needs to be put away are the baseballs, because pet peeve of mine when you're cleaning out a dugout is somebody takes the bucket, puts the lid on it, everybody gets out of the dugout, and there's like 17 baseballs left. And it's like, take the lid off, hold off, let's make the, yes, don't get me started on that. We started doing push-ups for anybody that missed. If you made it, it was fine, but if you missed it, that's 5 push-ups. You want to keep shooting, that's fine.
Ah, yeah, okay.
And so they don't do that so much anymore. But I did clean up the trash, leave the baseballs for last, get all of your stuff out. If you were a pitcher, your job is to clean up the catcher's gear, because that guy back there has been sweating and working and everything else all day. So you're gonna pick him up. So that seems to work. So they're not too bad. The older guys, kind of the same deal. Like they'll try to scoot out. I'm like, Usually the people that scoot out are the same people that leave stuff behind and then call you like, hey, did anybody find this?
Yeah, I left a glove.
Yeah.
Well, too bad.
Sorry. If you just cleaned up everybody else's stuff with your stuff, you wouldn't have left that glove. Then you have the people.
What a coincidence. You lost a glove and my kid just got a new glove.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of unsung heroes throughout the baseball season. Like the guy who throws with the left fielder, unsung hero.
Ooh.
But you need that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're staying on the host family.
The host family and the random cleaner-upper person.
The prep work that it takes. So, like, for us, it's like, okay, obviously schedules can be crazy. Friday night, it's like we're still working. Then, actually, this Friday, Carson had a doubleheader at Hamilton during the day, being Good Friday, everybody was off.
Yep.
So they played at 11 and then right after, and then came home, fired up the fake stone, right? It's not a black stone, it's a fake stone,
right.
So I call it. Made some fajitas and tacos. It was great. And then her and I played volleyball. I was terrible. It was cold. It was rainy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was first game of the year, just whatever. Come back home. Great. We have a game on Saturday. It's shoot. All right. We got to get all this cleanup in basically within like 3 hours. So we're running around the house. We're cleaning bathrooms, doing laundry. The kids are like not helping most of the time. Anti-unsung heroes.
Somebody else will get
it. They're not anti-unsung heroes. What's the word for the antagonist?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the bad guy in a book?
The villain?
The villain, yeah. So they're just trying, like I was saying, like they're getting all this, that you're putting stuff away, and it's like a dog.
Your mom is an unsung hero right now, and you're a villain.
Yeah. It's like you ever had like a dog where like you put the dog's toy away, or like you're literally just throwing it someplace out of the way, and then here comes the dog, like he just brings it back to you. That's how the kids are. It's like
girls, listen, mom's doing a lot of work and you're not, and I'm gonna get yelled at for it in a minute. Kid, do something.
So we spend all day Saturday before the games cleaning up, and then it's like after the game, it's like then we went to another baseball field, then we're out. It's like shoot, Sunday's here. It's like crap. Now we got to what did we miss yesterday? Cramming everything in, go to church. It's like get back from church, you have some time left. It's like picking it all up for what? Just so when everybody gets here, it just gets destroyed again.
Yeah.
Right? And so then it's the process of cleaning up after. And then you get the antagonist who
So you have that many people over. Do you get the golf cart and drive down and pick them up?
That's interesting you say that, because our street's not easy to park. So one of the things
I get annoyed sometimes when I show up and there's like the gap right in front of the house, and it's just like, come on, man, park. Like now I gotta park.
And a lot of those cars don't move. So it can be frustrating.
Right.
I know a guy in concrete that can fix it at some point. But to answer your question, yes, I've taken people to their cars before. It's actually, I'm thinking about starting a neighborhood business venture.
Yeah.
And it's actually going to be called Tuber. It's Tom's Uber.
We got Q-Vision and
Tuber. And for your holidays, you can actually rent me, or if you're having a birthday party and you need parking, rent me. I will go to their car. I will pick them up, drive them with their poke cake and everything else to your party.
That's fantastic.
So now I thought about that. Just driving. Who needs a ride? Do you need a ride? Where are you going? Which party? Just up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, we could do that. Sounds like a great idea.
Tuber.
That would be maybe Tuber would be the unsung hero. The guy
in that event.
Yep.
The random guy that just shows up in neighborhoods
driving
with his golf cart.
Yeah. I'll get in. It's fine. I got candy. Come on. Where are you going? Which party?
Yes.
So Easter night, it's a little bit different topic here. So, I've got cameras, multiple cameras throughout, which, by the way, a camera in the living room, terrible idea. I thought it would be a good idea. Terrible idea, because anytime you get into an argument...
Rewind the tape.
Exactly.
That is not what you said.
That is. I watched this over... I had this conversation. I watched this over and over, and this did not happen.
Paraphrasing. No.
Yeah.
I want exact verbiage.
And I'll use the same logic with my kids, too. Like, let's go to the tape. Right? So we have cameras in the back. We have 2 cameras in the front. We got a camera in the living room. So Easter night, everybody's kind of wore out, whatever. The kids were off. We went to bed. We were sitting in the living room, and kind of the camera popped in, and you'll get people at night, and Easter was chilly, but it wasn't terrible. But people were walking down the street. A lot of times you get people walking their dog or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was weird, because it was like 2 people, and I saw them. I'm like, man, I didn't see a dog. So I was the nosy neighbor. I kind of walked out front, kind of looked, and by the time I got out there, like, they were gone.
Ooh, ghost.
Well, I'm like, okay. I mean, kids have been known to like cut through like yards and everything. So I just flipped on my back lights. That way, if somebody cut through the yard, they probably would stay away from our place, whatever, just to see. So we go to bed. I come back in, we go to bed. The next morning, I get a Snapchat. We have a family Snapchat group from Austin. It was like 9 o'clock. This was at 11:35 last night. And it's a picture of 4 people walking up and down, and then they stop in front of my house. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen?
Go ahead.
I'm like, what is going to happen here? I'm like, well, they stopped at our light there, put their phone on the ground. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? At first, I thought they were like lighting a firecracker.
Audrey shared this with me. I think I know where you're going.
And so, all of a sudden, they put their phone up and they start dancing in the yard
with your house as the background.
Yeah, like doing it, like sitting there on a TikTok, and I'm like, and it went on for, I don't know, it seemed like probably
that's
like
the
5,
trend
10
is
minutes.
the kids' friends are doing TikToks in front of other friends' houses. So Audrey got like 4 or 5 TikToks of friends in front of our house. Like, I don't know the meaning behind it. I don't know the full story, but it's like, yeah, so and so, they stop by the house, they get in front of our house, they'll do the dance, and then they'll send that kid the TikTok or Snapchat or whatever it is. So it's just,
I wonder if they got. See, he didn't say that.
Yeah. So Audrey was talking. Me and Audrey went for a walk the other day together, and we were talking about that. She's like, yeah, so and so and so and so. I remember you talking about them here and there. She's like, yeah, they swung by the house and they did a TikTok in front of the house. I'm like, what's the point? And I was like, I don't know. Everybody's just going to friends' houses and doing TikToks and sending it to them in front of their house.
My truck was parked on the street. I'm waiting for them to like go across. I'm like, oh, I got somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, at least I got them on video. But Austin got up on the next morning. I'm like, if you see somebody outside, like in our yard, like, and it's like, hey, this doesn't look all that right. I'm like, come tell me.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it was late. I'm like, I don't care how late it was. Like, Dad, somebody's stealing your truck.
Somebody's stealing your truck at midnight, but that's so late.
I got it on film. It's great. It's great video.
Right.
I'm like, just come tell me. Well, why? Why do you think? Well, okay.
Maybe we should do that to our clients.
Past clients.
Past clients. Just go do a TikTok in front of it and send it to them.
I like that idea.
Stalkers? Maybe.
I like that idea. Hey, we just sold you this house. Whatever. I don't even know what song it is. What is it? What was this? Alexa, play It's a Fine House.
Yeah, our house is a very, very, very fine house.
Our house isn't included with Prime, but is available with Amazon Music Unlimited Family.
What show was that? That was a sitcom.
Songs on up to 6 accounts across multiple
Who's watching? We got some viewers. Our house is a very, very, very fine house. What sitcom is it? Help us out.
She just keeps talking. No.
Okay, you can sign up anytime by saying, sign Sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited. Here's a station for you based on the song Our House by Crosby,
She just keeps
Stills,
going.
Nash, and Young on Amazon Music.
Well, you say it, we play it. So yeah, that happened. I'm like, man, that's kind of weird. And anyway, so Unsung Hero, the host family, I will accept that award with honor. I love doing it. It's easier for us. Plus, I just like being here and having other people here too. So totally cool with it. Softball update. How'd it go this weekend?
Good. I mean, there's a lot of avenues with softball in the world. Friday we had a doubleheader. West Claremont did against Lebanon. Went well. We won game 1. Game 2, we moved things around, subbed in because you've got to find out what you got, especially on a thin roster, just in case somebody's hurt. You got to move some things around and subbed a girl in, and you're married to the lineup, right? So the move that I made was to bring a girl off the bench. She went into pitch, but I took a girl out of center field, so they're married now, and I put another girl out in left field. And the girl pitching, she just didn't have stuff that day. It was just one of those days and just wasn't working. And to pull her out of the circle and put someone new in, the girl that knew was going in, the lineup order would have brought my left fielder out because that's how the subs went because we made a ton of. So I'm sitting here watching this girl struggle, and I'm like, if I pull her, I got to pull my left fielder. And then left fielder did nothing wrong. So I'm sitting there, and it was 5-5, and I was so, when you go in on a decision, and you're like, I'm going in on this decision, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
5-5. It is now 16-5.
So worse.
I rode that wide. I rode that wave for that left fielder to stay in the game for that long, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. So I switched up. And I walk out to the field and I give him one of these and the shortstop hustles over and I'm like, left field's like, what'd I do? I'm like, you're married to her in the lineup.
Yeah.
That's the sub I got to make. Like, you got to come out of the game. She was like, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I'm still like, that decision sucks so bad. So we go in the dugout. She's when girls cry, it's a little different than guys, and it's frustration. It's just, it is what it is. So I don't mind when girls cry in the dugout. It doesn't bother me, but it's just a way of anger. And I'm like, kiddo. She's like, I understand, I get it. I'm like, but now you don't get to play in this game because, oops. So
But you know what? When you're part of a team, that's something that there are things outside of that. Like, yeah, I mean, in essence, whether that was your best player or not, it's like you don't want to necessarily have to take her out. However, this is what the situation calls for.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no way around it.
Right.
And baseball's a similar, actually, I had a conversation on.
So in softball, you can re-enter a game.
So you can re-enter. You can re-enter.
Can you in baseball now?
So, baseball, if you start,
Yep.
you can come out and then re-enter.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you are a sub, say you pull your left fielder and you put somebody else in, and then you re-enter your left fielder, that sub is burned. They're gone.
They can enter.
They can enter, but they can't re-enter.
Okay.
Is it the same way with softball?
You can re-enter.
Just constant?
Well, one re-enter.
No matter who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. See, like, I wanted to get... I was curious how Coleraine kind of had done their lineup, and I wanted to... Because, I wanted to see, okay, so... being a coach and watching the game, and then it's like you're kind of looking at it. You're like, well, it's always like I would do this, or why aren't we? Why aren't we doing that? So I wanted, before I made any assumptions, like I wanted to see, okay, is there a difference? Because in summer we're supposed to play by high school rules, right? The National Federation of High School rules, and we are allowed to have a DH and an EH or an AH, extra hitter, additional hitter, whatever.
Do you a flex where it's just strictly defense, but they don't hit?
No. So that would be, you would use that as, instead of DHing like for your pitcher, which the majority, if you're going to DH for somebody, a lot of times it's that guy that gets DH for.
Correct.
You could DH for anybody. It doesn't have to be your pitcher.
Okay, so, but you can't have somebody play the field and they don't go in the lineup.
Yeah, but then in that case, your pitcher would have to hit.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Same. We call it a flex and a DP designated player.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, language is a little different, but that's what it is. So, but you know, if you've got a heavy roster, and it's like, okay, you want to get more guys. Your pitcher clearly is playing.
Correct.
You want to get more guys opportunities at the plate. You know, I'm like, well, why don't we have an AH and a DH? So you got two extra guys that maybe aren't seeing the field per se on the defensive side,
right?
But they're getting at bats, right? And you can work it that way. We never really did it that way, and so I was like, okay, well, I stopped the umpires after the first game, and of course,
yes, we're going to talk about the big Bearcat news.
Yes, and so
huge,
and so. I'm asking these umpires in between games. I stopped them, and Nicole's like, "What are you doing?" She thinks I'm gonna like go after these guys or whatever. I'm like, "No, I have." It's an actual question. I told him, I was like, "Hey, I coach high school team, in the summer, high school age team in the summer." I said, "Are the rules different here from a high school level compared to like what I'm doing in the summer, whether it's OHSAA or the NFHS." And so they kind of basically, and I was also curious about courtesy runners too. Like if you have a catch, speed up the game, catcher or pitcher, if they're hitting and they get on base, you can have a courtesy runner.
Yep.
Right. We had never done that. I'm like kind of curious, like why don't we have a courtesy runner for catcher or pitcher? Turns out, you can't. Like you can pinch run for them and then re-enter them.
Yep.
But so I got some clarification on a couple of different things, a couple of different fronts, just by asking the question, right? So before I make any type of argument, I want to be knowledgeable about the argument that I'm making, so I don't look like an idiot.
Yeah. I'm 5 years old. I'm asking questions because I don't know.
I don't
Why?
know. Yeah.
Why? Okay.
I did not tell him how he missed the balk in the third inning. I didn't tell him, Yeah, so so we had that on Friday, and then this leads me to another segment. So Austin team's pretty good. We've had a good run of success. We've won a tournament. We've played well in tournaments, played really good defense, and pitched well. This week, we had one game on Saturday, and because of the success that we had, there were several kids. When you have 11 kids, you want all of them to pitch, right? And it's about development, and that development will lead to winning, right?
Yes.
And so we haven't had the games to get some of these other guys opportunities on the mound. They've thrown bullpens, and we've seen them, but facing actual hitters. Practices have been, it's like the weather. A lot of things have played into that, and not only that, the guys, the 4 to 5 kids that had thrown with us before, had done a really good job.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to kind of keep that going too. And so, we're playing a really good team, and we start off and we're matching them hit for hit, and we make a switch to get another guy in there, and things kind of went south, and it was a tough game. We're having not necessarily that kid's fault, because it's new to everybody. We're using this as an experience to learn each other and where people best fit.
Did you sound exactly like me after during practice yesterday?
Yeah.
I had a conversation with the girls of decisions being made, moves being made, this doing here, going there, and we had something happen with our team yesterday to where we're forced to make a decision on changing positions, and it's girls. I play the long game.
Yeah,
I'm not playing to win this particular game. I am, but if I have to make a sub or make a move to develop something else, and it cost us the game, it's okay, because we're going to be better at the end of the year, and you're going to be better next year for it. I play the long game in development because I want you guys better for later. Right now, we might lose a game because of me riding out a rough at bat or a rough inning, because I'm not pulling her when she rattled. I want her to work through it, and I want that kid to play.
Yeah.
Dang
And-
it.
There's
Yeah,
part
there
of that.
are decisions.
And when you have that, you want them to play different positions. So, like, we're kind of the guys that have played certain spots in the tournament. We're moving some other guys around into those spots and just kind of seeing, like, okay, where are we strong? Where do we need work? And there turns out we need a lot of work because I grabbed a pen and paper and took down a page full of notes of stuff that we need work on.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I basically, when it was all said and done, I looked at one coach. I said, well, I just wrote the Bible of baseball. He was like, we're going to go to practice and we're going to relearn the game of baseball at this point. And so the game wasn't going great. And we're playing a team. I just call them out because I really don't give a damn anymore because they made me mad, and we're going to get into that. But we're playing this West Stars team, and I had run into their coach who does some training and whatever. He seemed like a really, really nice guy. He bit off a little more than he can chew at this point, and I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, that competitive juice and stuff that flows, and so
Man, it sounds like we had the same weekend.
So I know that we'll play them again. I know that we're a better team than what we showed. I know, not to make excuses, we haven't had opportunities in our 6 months together that they have in their 3 to 4 years together.
Yeah.
To learn certain things, which we will. However, this leads me to one of the topics I want to talk about, which was unwritten rules in. We'll just use baseball. I don't know if it's the same way in softball or not. Maybe even just in general in life.
Yeah.
Right? So there was an inning where we needed 1 run to continue to play. I think we scored 2, right? We weren't coming back to win this game. Okay? As much as you want to believe that, and as much as a coach, you're like, yeah, we can do it. You could tell by...
Let's just cut this in half, guys, and move on to another day.
You can tell by the attitude on our bench and what was going on that, like, it wasn't going to be our day. And they get guys on, and they're still stealing second. They're still stealing third. I'm like, okay, it's early. People are working on certain things, whatever. Like, it kind of bugged me, but it didn't bug me that much. And this was a rough inning, right? And then one of their kids comes up and tries to bunt down the third base line. I'm like, that's interesting. Up 11. The game's about to end, and once we get to bat and we don't score, I'm like, that's interesting. And then I look and I see the first base coach showing him how to bunt in this situation. At first, because I'm like, was it the kid? Because, okay, fine, I can excuse that. Like,
I wonder if the coach was like, you don't know how to bunt, and if there's ever a time for you to see live pitching and bunt, it's now. So we're going to use this game as a practice for us.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. With me on the other end, no, line up and freaking hit. You're up by 11. Learn to bunt. If you can't do it in a 2-2 game, don't do it when you're up 11.
I agree with you. I'm just trying to.
And definitely don't let me see that.
Go.
Don't let me see that coach.
Like, we got to stop hitting on these guys. Let's bunt. I don't know how to bunt.
Well, it wasn't even that they were hitting.
Right.
It was again new pitcher, so you're getting some walks and everything like that too. It was a struggle, and you're gonna embarrass our guys out there that are out there trying. That clearly, I talked to a trainer after the game, and he goes, "You guys are the better team." I said, "I know we are." I said, but we threw 4 guys that didn't throw before, and we put guys in different spots. Some surprised us, some, and some, we'll find another way to make it work.
Yeah.
But when that happened, I'm like, huh. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm like, and I said, I told the other coach, I'm putting this in my notebook. I said, I'm putting this in my notebook because the next time, I said that when we play them, if we've got an opportunity, I will run it up on them.
Yeah.
I will not hold back, and we will continue to go. And it got worse. So that's one of my unwritten rules. In a close game, I have no problem with you bunting.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
So what do you got bunt on a no-hitter?
I'm all for it.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Especially because usually if it's a no-hitter, a lot of times it's a close game.
You're 100% correct.
And if
manufacture something. Yeah.
And if it's not that close in major leagues, you're typically a blow.
6-0 no-hitter.
Yeah.
Don't bunt on me.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with that because you still need to get something going. If you're gonna come back, you got to get guys on base.
Okay, there's an audience out there that is against it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care either way.
Yeah.
When you play to win the game.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
But when you already have the game won, now you're showing up us and our guys.
If you can't defend a punt, you gave up a hit. Deal with it.
Agreed. Unless you're up by 11, then
in a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Back to
absolutely.
context of this.
Absolutely.
Yes. Up by 11, just
let your 12-year-old kid hit.
right.
Plain and simple, right? It wasn't like he was trying to bunt to get out either, and I would never ask for that.
Yeah.
Let him go up there and hit. Well, they got a runner on third. Wild pitch. Again, here they come home. Well, the ball happens to bounce off the concrete wall and land right at home plate. Our catcher's not the most fleet of foot, but he did a pretty good job. He's hustling as best he can, and he kind of gets to the ball kind of as this guy's crossing home plate. The kid was safe, okay? But the umpire had seen the struggles that we were going through. He calls him out. Same inning that this guy bunted, by the way.
All right.
Their coach comes down and argues the call. That set me on fire.
Yeah.
And myself and their third base coach had words right there. And I believe I called him something short of a class act. And I did not use the choice language that maybe I could have. I'd held back, but I pretty much called him a clown and thank you for bunting when you're up by 11.
Yeah.
And then turning around and blaming it on the other coach and those guys on the bench.
That's funny.
So I proceeded to tell them and our team that not only the next time we play you will we run it up on them, the next time my 18-year-old group, 17, 18-year-old group plays that organization, we will also run it up on them. That's how much it bothered me.
That's
to where
funny.
it was removed entirely from one individual game to I didn't like you.
I don't like your whole family.
It's O'Doyle rules. O'Doyle rules, because there will be a reckoning to come. So my unwritten rules, like, there are certain ones that yes, I'm fine with. Like, we had a situation a week or so before where one of our players, we talked about it, he gets hit twice. Next time he hits a home run, bat flips. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I also don't have a problem with the coach in the other dugout saying, hey, next time he comes up, hit him in the head. I'm not big on hitting in the head, but you get the gist.
Yeah, your out call at home, or safe out call, whatever. The arguing of that. We had a game earlier this year to where the ump was being very patient with our pitcher, and so when we're allowed to step back to get going forward, right?
Yeah.
And our girl was stepping off to the side, and you have 24 inches, you can't step out of that range. Pretty much have to be in a straight line, no sideways to get momentum. And she kept stepping off, and the ump's like, "Hey, coach, let me tell you what your girl's doing." I let it slide. I know she's working on something. I know she's struggling, but have her at least get straight back. And we went over it, and later in the game, there was a play that we could have easily challenged and called, and our girls and coaches were like, "Coach, coach, coach," and I was like,
Right.
We're being graded on a curve. I'm not playing that game. And those are the behind the scene things that, sometimes parents don't see, sometimes players don't see. It's like, guys, I've had 3 conversations with what our pitcher's doing wrong. I'm absolutely not going to start begging for calls against them. So
So I'll go back to when he bunted and he looked down to the first base coach. Had that first base coach say, "Come on, swing away."
Yeah.
That changes
Done.
the entire narrative. At that point.
We don't even have this conversation right
Correct.
now. Right.
Because I don't have a problem. Kids are kids, players are players. They are there to compete.
Yep.
Right? But us as coaches should know better about those certain situations.
Yeah.
So there are, like I said, there's unwritten rules that I think it's more of a life rule. Like, there's other rules that I'm like, okay, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like the one that came up last year was teams getting, like, using our example. Let's just say, it's 3-0 and they swing at 3-0 and hit a home run. Yeah. Did you see that argument last year? I want to say, was it Vlad Jr.?
Hit a bomb
on 3-0 where the Blue Jays were up by a bunch.
Yep.
And the other team had a big giant conniption about it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And shouldn't be. I think it was Tony La Russa who, God forbid, Tony La Russa ever opens his mouth again. That guy has written the rule book, the unwritten rule book, right? Like, I had never even heard that one in all my years of playing. I had never, ever, ever heard that one.
Me neither.
Matter of fact, that's the best time to swing away 3-0.
Yeah, I usually put hands in pockets at 3-0. 3-1 is my. I mean, if they're struggling and if they throw a strike, guess what? They got to throw another one, and that ball you murder. So I'm more in the philosophy of 3-0. Just take it.
Usually.
Right.
Usually. Now,
But
if you're beating a team, I'd much rather 3-0. My guy swing again. Baseball, softball may be a little bit different. That hitter, when he swings, is going to get himself out 6 or 7 times, and that's your best hitter.
Yeah.
So if he's swinging the bat, that's giving them an opportunity to get him out, as opposed to taking a 3-0, a fourth ball,
yeah, I think
and
that's
he
the
walks.
same unwritten on both sides, baseball and softball. It's up by 11. It's 3-0.
Swing. You want to swing? Hit it. I don't care.
I let this one go by. Now I see the meat.
Don't bunt it. I'll kill you. But swing it.
Swing. Yeah.
Swing the bat. You like it? Yeah. Go up there, be aggressive.
Yep.
Have some fun. This
Green
time,
light, kid. Swing out of your shoes right now. It's the one chance you get to do it.
do it.
Yep.
You
if
get
you
out,
hit a bomb, cool.
great.
If you
So
don't,
what?
if you hit it 500 foot in the air,
Yeah, some of those I just don't. I don't like that one. I don't like the no-hitter bunt rule. I'm sure there's others that I can think of that come to mind, but that just really bugged me, obviously, to where
and then that emotion resurfaces. And
it's one of those that just kind of keeps going.
It's like, man,
I'm a competitor. When you have, it's a little different, I guess. When if your team isn't as good, you don't feel that competitive juice where it's like, okay, we probably can't beat that team.
Yeah.
So it's like you just kind of let it go, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, if I ever get the chance to where we are good, and I'm like, we're gonna get another chance at them, and we ain't forgetting this.
right.
There's gonna be hell to pay for somebody. You let off the gas one moment, and we're
Up by 9.
Yeah.
We're stealing.
nope, we're gonna keep going.
Yep.
We're gonna make you actually be like an I quit match. Just I quit, and just make them walk off. And I would
Say uncle.
Then I would use the old Triple H term, suck it. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, that was my unwritten rules. We got much more to talk about. Elon Musk buys Twitter.
Yep.
Interesting. There's
See how that plays out. He's still working through he held a lot of the chips to sell his stock and crash Twitter and yeah, we'll see what if it does go down, and we'll see how the platform changes to, and I'll come out and say it, not a biased restriction of free speech platform. I think it's consistently going one way on who gets shut down on Twitter as far as what their opinions are and what they have to say. So it is clearly a biased platform. So the word free speech is if you have to think, well, that's a good thing.
So this song's terrible. We need to spin this.
This is pretty bad. I'm playing some good. Where do I stand on what?
So where do you stand on
Top 40.
Tell me what you're looking for.
1994 top 40, number 20.
I got it right here.
Well, that'd be quicker than
Top 40.
the phone.
Songs? Yeah, I know. I don't know why that adaptation.
Yeah, when it comes to free speech, I guess I'll wait for your question.
Let me get this song in.
But when it comes to free speech, we've talked about it before on the show, and I think everything and everyone needs an opposing side to hold up the integrity of your side and to hold the purity of your side.
Alexa, play Fantastic Voyage by Coolio.
Oh. So there's things that I disagree with in society, but I think society needs those just to show the purity of what is right. So I'm all for free speech. I'm all for hate speech. I don't care, because it's there to press into what is right. And if it is right, you can press as hard as you want into it, and it's still going to stand. So I don't the taking people off of platforms, deleting them, cancel culture. I hate it. I'm against it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Let that what you're trying to cancel, let it press into your belief. And if your belief can withstand it, then it's a good belief. If it can't, then you're wrong. Off my soapbox.
I don't know where I stand on this. Is Twitter a public entity? Is Facebook a public entity, or is it private?
Yeah, so that goes back to the whole Facebook algorithm whistleblower chick, girl, whatever. When she came out and said there's all these algorithms, everybody's like, we know. You're not whistleblowing anything. What's going on? But at the end of her presentation, she was talking about we need more regulations and government involvement to regulate what these platforms are doing with the algorithms. And it's like, that was her point. That was Facebook's point the whole time, was to put her out there as a whistleblower to reveal what Facebook is doing wrong, and the government needs to step in. Now they just went from private to public. Now the government is involved on our social media platforms. So I think for Twitter and Facebook to cancel people, they need a higher power, and that would be our government. So once they let them in, and once they get in bed with the political party, then their canceling is justified, because even our politicians don't say what you're saying is fair. But wait, it's a public platform. It's you can't delete me from being in a public place saying a public thing. Well, no, but our government can. So I think that was kind of the undercurrent of Facebook when they tried to do it, and I think Twitter was trying to do it.
So are you saying it was good that government got involved?
I think it's horrible.
Okay. Because I'm, and the reason I asked the question was, take smoking, for example. Back when you could smoke in restaurants.
Correct.
Okay. If I walk into a place and I didn't want to be around smoke, I don't care how good their ham was.
Right?
Like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go someplace else. Now, if the restaurant doesn't allow smoking, and I light up a cigarette and they kick me out, it's their business. It's their property. They are basically banning me.
Yep.
So I guess that's where I'm like, okay,
what's the difference there? That's a good thought. See,
yeah, like,
see,
so,
that's where
like,
I like free speech, is like, because this presses into my thoughts, and it's like, wait a second, let me re-examine my thoughts, because that is a thing. Like, if you come into my establishment and smoke a cigarette, and I don't want you smoking a cigarette, get out.
Right.
If you come onto my platform and say something I don't like, get out.
Right. And so do you? And I think.
And now, would Twitter go extremely left side? Let it.
Then somebody
Then
else.
we just need somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yep. And
So all that talking, yeah, Twitter, if you want to delete somebody for voicing their opinion.
And I agree with you. Is what kind of happened is they are only deleting or only getting rid of.
Yeah.
One side, whatever it be. I mean.
Yeah.
Even if you could have all the facts, like they did the one, like, oh, this is not a fact, blah, 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 like, whatever, misinformation campaign or whatever.
Right.
Even if it is, have you looked at the other, like, you know how much misinformation is out there? Like, how much, like, why? And then you got to ban 50% of your platform at that point. If you're only doing, whether it was COVID, whether it was election, whether it was whatever, like, what about the person over here that says the sun's not going to come up tomorrow? Why aren't you banning that guy?
Yeah, flat Earth guy.
Yeah, flat Earth guy. Truthers, where are those guys?
Right.
Like, Elvis is alive. Well, maybe he is. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm with you. It would be awesome if there was that type of platform, right? So, like, where does that fall in terms of the First Amendment? Newspapers, they can print out there and put whatever they want out there.
Yeah.
The right of free press, does that fall under that? I don't know. It's that part of it is confusing to me.
Yeah, there are a lot of
when you have something that is actually owned. Now you have a newspaper that's owned. Maybe they should be treated exactly. I don't know how that.
To the highest standard of truth.
Yeah, and but there's editorials and opinions that are in newspapers and magazines,
Right.
And like kids, if you don't know what a newspaper is, you used to get it every day. Somebody would deliver it to your house, or you could buy it at the convenience store.
Northwest Press.
Yeah, and
96. Rock.
I wanna rock.
6.
19,
96. Rock 6.
19.
So yeah, no, that's interesting when you compare, and you can do that and cross it up. And I think your analogy of smoking in a restaurant is perfect. Which it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
Because there was a higher entity that stepped in and said, hey, one's freedom ends where another's begins.
Yeah.
Which it's fair to say, people shouldn't have to sit and smoke. Health reasons wise, I think that maybe if you really dissect it and get into it on a deeper level, it's health reasons why. This is why we say no smoking in a restaurant. I don't know that you can have maybe mental health, suicide type things for hate speech would cross over with all of that.
This
I
is
don't know
good
if you want to
because
dive into.
this goes right into this. So Alexa, play "The World I Know" by Collective Soul.
Perfect.
Yeah. I don't remember the song, but "The World I Know" is kind of leading us down this topic because using what you're saying right now.
We'll try again.
Alexa, play "The World I Know" by Collective Soul.
The World I Know LP version by Collective Soul is only available with Amazon Music Unlimited. Here's a station
Whoa.
based on the World I Know LP version.
I'm not happy about.
Alexa's just shutting music
Yeah.
down, dude. I mean, this is happening to us all the time anymore.
All right, we're gonna go chalk on this one too. We're gonna move up to number 5. Alexa, play "In the Meantime" by Space Hog. Sounds like
Here's in the meantime, a Space Hog.
No.
Amazon Music.
how can you name your band Space
So
Hog?
yeah, I think every one of these conversations can cross over with another area of life, and you just have to discern.
But let's stay
The
on
difference.
that smoking one.
Yep.
Right, because I think there are.
Man, we know this song.
Yeah. Let's go back into the masking and all of that. I'm okay with a public place, or not public place, a privately owned business telling people that if you want to come in here, you have to wear a mask.
Here's the rules. You got collared shirt, no shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service.
I'm fine with
I'm
that.
fine with that, 100%.
So, not that we want to go back in time, but what was the actual difference between smoking in a restaurant and not? In today's world, having to wear a mask in a restaurant or not? I mean, I think the obvious answer is we know that smoking is not healthy.
Correct.
However, if I want my place of business to be an unhealthy establishment and allow smoking, I'm of the opinion that they should be allowed to do that. Would I go there? No, because I couldn't imagine nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a hole-in-the-wall bar. Everybody smoke up, drink beer, do whatever you want.
Right.
No mask, drink up. Like,
Right.
this is who we are.
And
Put
I
your
know
guard
that
down. Yeah.
beforehand.
Yep.
And I couldn't imagine going to a restaurant and smelling smoke today.
So weird.
Yeah, you get that. You get
Yes.
what I'm saying. Like, but in
Smoking or non? Huh?
huh? What? What? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please. No. Like, what- I do see though a lot of similarities in regards to that, and like we're talking about. I wish the government would just stay out of it.
Yes. Yes.
Like human beings, we could argue this until we're blue in the face, but right now are the smartest beings on the planet.
Tommy Watkins would have a new bar called No Heaters.
No heaters. And I don't.
Is it cold in there? No, wrong heater.
Wrong heater. But you know, my point of that is just let grown-ups make grown-up decisions.
Yes.
Eh,
At the end of the day, people are going to hate to hear this. Capitalism wins.
Yeah.
If my business philosophy doesn't make me money, I will curve my business philosophy to make money.
Yep.
If smoking in my establishment makes me lose money, smoking's done. Right? You don't have to have rules and regulations. Money is the rules and regulations. If I'm making money doing something, I'm going to keep doing it. If I'm not, the public, the market, what we say in real estate, the market dictates the value of a home.
Yep.
The market, the market, the market. If I open a restaurant called No Heaters and I don't make money, well, maybe I'm going to try some heaters because I need an establishment.
Yeah.
Catholic church festivals. Get rid of alcohol. They lose money.
Yep.
Keep alcohol. We make money.
Yep.
Boom. So the market dictates what that business is going to do or not. If you're a true entrepreneur, you're going to find a way.
I
Government,
agree.
stay out of it.
Stay out.
Let we've been dying to have this conversation for a long time. The cream rises to the top.
The cream rises to the top.
Run your business philosophy out there. If it works, the market wants it.
Yep.
If it doesn't work, the market doesn't want it. Get out. The cream will rise to the top. Put your theory, put your philosophy, put your ideas to the ultimate test. If it survives, you win. That's what the market wanted. Mm-hmm. Who are you, the government, to step in and say, hey, I don't want you to do that because it hurt this person's feelings? Okay, one person's feelings are hurt, but there's 10,000, that's okay with it? And these 10,000 have to go without because of this one? No.
Which is where we've went to.
So now you're getting me moved the way you were moved.
Yeah,
like these things, like, it's in charge, man.
It's a tough conversation because you do want everybody to be safe and well-being of other humans and everything along the line. But you're right. Capitalism wins
all the time.
Money makes the world go round, right? I was listening to the radio today. They were talking about inflation and they're talking about forgiving student debt, right? Well, somebody's going to pay for that. If if there's a bank there that student loan is from, who is the government to say, you know what, they don't have to pay that?
Yeah.
Now, if the government is giving loans and they say, well, you know what, we're going to forgive that. Okay.
The government, if they're not paying it, you are.
Yeah.
You better pay me what they owe me if you want to take their debt
Correct.
away. Okay.
And then guess where that's coming to? That's coming right back down to you.
Okay. So now we're all paying it, and you're paying it regardless because our taxes just went through the roof and inflation went through the roof.
Everything else is sky high now.
Yep.
So
cause and effect is a magical thing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It is. It's literally some of the stuff that happens. It is a lot of. It basically is the definition of insanity. If you continue to do the same things over and over and over and get the same result, you're insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, staying on that, as we're on our soapbox of all these things.
So Elon Musk buying Twitter, the market will dictate if it's the right thing.
What's hilarious too is if you follow that, we kind of got off of good old Elon there, but you see again, I like reading some of the conspiracy theorist stuff, regardless of whatever side anybody's on.
I think that's all everybody's guilty pleasure, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah. And so, they're talking about, well, if Elon Musk, I think it was offers $43 billion to buy Twitter.
Right.
And people are like, well, no, we're not selling it. Well, it's going to be $43 billion.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about that.
Free speech for everyone.
Like, $43 million?
We had Salamoni's. Remember Salamoni's? I'm sure you do. And there was a guy sitting at the end of the bar one night. Drinks are on me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. He paid for the entire bar the whole night, and it was like, This isn't good. I remember we were there the same night. It was like, that guy. Two
of them. Hey, man, you stay. You're cool. We like you. We like you.
Free speech?
Yeah.
I'll take 2 shots of that.
Give that to me. Yeah, so... but they're saying, man, if they don't sell it to him, what does that say about the other side? He
sells his stock, and it crashes Twitter.
So you were going to bite your nose,
despite your face. Good cliche.
Yeah. But that leads to another thing, because we were kind of talking about, and we kind of led down this path, kind of turned towards smoking in restaurants, which I don't think anybody necessarily really wants, but just using it as, a similar kind of circumstance, compare and contrast two different situations. yesterday, the
Simon, can we put gum underneath the table if you're allowed gum?
you cannot. That is illegal at my establishment. They dropped the federal mask mandate on transportation. So buses, trains, planes, automobiles, Uber, Lyft, all those
Great
people.
movie. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
They're basically now putting it back into the hands of said companies.
Yep.
Right? What was hilarious to me, and you'd seen this kind of throughout everything that we went through, was it was like the moment, it was like flipping a switch. The moment the government said, yeah, you don't have to do this anymore. You got freaking stewardesses going down the aisle like, hey, you want to get rid of your mask? Yes, I do. You want to get rid of your mask? No, I don't. You want to get rid of your mask? Yes, I do. It's like they're just throwing this stuff in there like right away. Like give it, and they told people, they're like, give it some time, give it a day or two for like planes and everything that was in the air and in process to actually get. They didn't wait a day or two. It was immediate. Like, okay, don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Take them off. Like,
we will find a way to correct ourselves as a society, as people, as a group, collectively. We just will. The market always wins. Capitalism always wins, and it's the mask mandates getting lifted. It's, you look at all of the transportation and everything that they have to deal with the kickback of wearing the mask still. And it's, I'm losing employees, flights are going up, I'm going to cancel flights, I'm going to change all of society because society is rejecting this thing so bad that it's costing society flights, it's costing them transportations, it's affecting our daily lives. So it's like, oh, my daily life is affected that much because you're pressing government into this of something that you think we want, but we don't want anymore.
Right.
We got it. We worked through it. We muscled through it. We are on the other side of this for the most part. And it's, oh, airlines are shutting down flights and it's costing money and they're losing employees. Would it help if we lifted mask mandates? Yes, mask mandates lifted.
Yeah, gone.
Bam. Okay, cool. Well, society wins all the time. No, I don't. Whatever, we have to venture down avenue, but the market,
freedom wins.
freedom. Well, that's well said.
Yeah. Freedom. Let freedom ring.
Yes.
Let freedom ring.
Like we will make adjustments, but yes, the market never lies and freedom wins.
So on the flip side of that, you had, I'm going to say her name wrong, but Ilhan Omar.
Oh,
Basically you had folks on a plane.
30,000 feet in the air singing Christian songs, and I'm probably not for that. I'm a Christian, very much. I love time and a place. I don't know that I'm for what happened, but again, I'm not against it. They want to sing. They got the freedom. If the plane would have shut them down, then the market would have spoke, and it shut them down. I didn't want anything to do it. But her comment was, if my Muslim family broke down in prayer, what would have happened to us? I don't know. Break down in prayer in America on an American airline,
Right.
as a minority religion in this country. Give it a shot. See what happens. You might take some heat. You might get some kickback. You might get some opinions. Flip the script. Take a Christian over there to break down in Christian prayer time into praise. See what happens to them.
Right.
So, but before somebody's going to run their mouth of, oh, I'm so mistreated, flip the script. We're all mistreated, and we're all minorities and majorities somewhere around on this globe, and we're so Americanized that we only see what happens in America. We don't see globally. And people like her that just like, stop hating this country.
Yeah.
Stop hating what you have. Just flip the script. Go somewhere else and become take me to another country, and now I'm the minority, and how am I treated versus minorities being treated here?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer because I don't live there and go there, but I don't think it's
I would
the same.
probably go back to your original comment of time and place. I agree with her 100%. In America, on an airplane, if they broke out into Muslim prayer,
Time and place, guys.
I could see there being backlash. I could see comments and wrong or right. This is not me, but this is. I could see fear on a plane. That's that. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not necessary. I mean, I guess it's
Phobia.
no, it's profiling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Profiling more
Okay.
so than
Yeah.
anything else,
Yeah.
Right? And I tend to agree, kind of with her stance of like, yeah, I could see why she would feel that way.
Right.
So I go back to time and place, regardless of whatever it is you're like. And also, I would say, what are these folks' motive on the plane by breaking out a guitar and doing that?
Yeah.
Like you're bringing, like,
Are you trying to spread the gospel?
yeah, I don't think so. You're bringing attention to yourself.
100%. 100%.
And
So I'm
if
not
you're
a big
Christian,
fan of the. Yes.
You're not. It's not about yourself. You're not
Yes.
supposed to bring all
Yes.
glory to Q Vision or Tuber. It's you are bringing the vision to and providing and spreading the glory of God.
Not yourself.
Correct.
100%. Look
So-
what I did on a plane.
So again, I go back to time and place. I look at motive, and I would say none of that is probably okay. But you have idiots across the place. No matter what religion, no matter what walk of the earth, there are people that just don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't agree they should have done it, and exactly for the point that you just pointed out. And it's, and for her to think that only her religion would have gotten backlash. Barstool Sports, which is a bunch of white dudes hating on that thing.
Yeah.
Like they are shredding that guy.
Yeah.
Deservedly so, because what he did was the time and place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, hold on, Omar, get out of your little capsule and out of your box and open the lid and look at the backlash that those guys are getting.
Right. She can't because she's solely focused on
Yes.
herself and
Yes.
where she's at. So
Yeah, one of my favorite Bible verses is James 3:17, and it's heavenly wisdom, and one of those topics are being impartial, and it's when you really evaluate yourself as a person, and you go into situations and say, how can I approach this situation and be impartial? Because it's almost impossible, because you are biased to your own world and your own living knowledge. It's my lived experience. You cannot bring that to the table, but to evaluate, okay, I'm going to try to be unbiased in this situation. And when that's in the front of your thought before you evaluate anything, it's tough to do. And I don't think a lot of people have developed that as a skill set of, all right, before I speak, let me get other points of view. Oh, Barstool Sports is crushing those guys. Well, that's kind of fair.
Yeah.
Maybe my opinion wasn't going to be as powerful as I thought.
yeah. And that goes back to freedom wins, free speech. I mean, yeah,
Throw your ideas out there. If they stand, let them. If they don't, accept it.
I think it's I think now that things are kind of, I don't want to say, Alexa, play Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News.
Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News is only available with Amazon Music Unlimited.
They've got. I'm going.
Here's a station
Alexa,
icon.
stop. They've gotten to her. To where now
Just play Metallica.
can't even get.
They own all
There's
their own
no
music.
shot that even plays. There's no way.
Yeah, Metallica owns their own music.
God. Well, yeah, they probably have to buy it from them, and I probably can't because I probably have a subscription that's got the old card on it, and I can't buy it at the time.
It's like, don't tell me what you can't play. Tell me what you can play.
Right.
It's
Unbelievable.
like these 4 songs.
So anyway,
Which is totally destroying our wheel.
yeah, we have to just keep going. Let's try one more time. One more time. Let's go with.
Let's see. What do we got
Give
here?
me a spin-a-rooney.
White Oak Productions wheel going in 1987.
1987.
Oh, we got rock. So we're probably going to have some Def Leppard on here. A big hair band.
Maybe.
Number 13.
13.
13th rock song of 1987.
I wanna rock.
What if it's that song?
I want to rock. What's the number?
13.
13.
Quiet Riot.
This is good. This is really good. If it plays. Alexa, play I Want to Go Back by Eddie Money.
I Want to Go Back by Eddie Money on Amazon Music.
Yes.
There we go. That's even better. That's even better than stupid Huey Lewis in the News.
Oh. So what else we got? Some sports talk. Reds suck.
Yes. So let's.
They're on pace to win 48 games. What's the fewest wins in an MLB season?
Ooh. Well, I love it. First, they were like on pace to win. They were 2-2, and there was like they're on pace to be 81-81, and then like a week later they're on pace to win like 28 games.
Yeah.
I mean it's it seems to have went downhill the moment that last week when Phil Castellini
36.
pace to win 36.
No. I'm sorry. The fewest wins in a season. That was a 140 season game.
Was that
140 game season.
Oh, okay.
The Philadelphia Athletics of 1916 went
Okay.
36-117. Boston Braves 1935. 2003, the Detroit Tigers 43-119.
That team was bad.
That team was bad.
That's bad. So we're on pace for that.
We are going to rival the 2003, and that was a 162 season. So
I am trying to will the warmer weather here, so I've watched. One, there's just not a whole lot going on, so I've watched. I haven't watched all of the game per se, but I've watched pieces of every game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that I like. I love Hunter
Joey
Green.
Votto and his social media.
Fantastic.
He's doing it.
Fantastic.
Good job, Joey.
I love the two number 1 draft picks that they've got starting. I like some of the young guys that they're playing. The Vottos, not young, but like Stevenson, been good. But I look at it and I when the season started, they have Nick Senzel, who when he's out there, he's as good a player as you can have. The problem is he typically lasts about 3 innings and then he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And so earlier in the year, about a week ago, him and Tommy Pham collided for a ball. I go, he's going to be hurt. He played the rest of the game. Tommy Pham came out. Senzel has not played since then. Pham came back yesterday. That bothers me, that you got rid of 2 guys that could play 3 guys that played every single day. And here you've got this stud that, for whatever reason, can't stay on the field. And it drives me crazy. And then in the meantime, you've got, I was a huge fan of Mike Moustakas when they brought him in here. It's dead weight at this point. Like,
right.
I don't know if you just can't find a place to send him, but if you're going to go, I want you either all in on this rebuild, or all out. And so if he's going to continue to play, which he's not because he's hurt now too. And the worst part is, one of my favorite players, Jonathan India, who last year darn near played in every single game, he's hurt. Hasn't come back yet. Luis Castillo, he's hurt. Hasn't started yet. Like,
so what you're telling me is there's hope?
No, that's what I'm afraid of. What I'm afraid of is, instead of things changing, because we went through this with the Bengals for so long too, is listening to Phil Castellini last week sit there and say, "Oh, well, where I'm sure you've heard it, where he's like, where are you going to go?"
Right.
And we're not going anywhere, but the best way for us to make money, if we really wanted to, was sell the team. First of all, it's Cincinnati.
We're going to be Guardian fans.
Yeah, no, we won't. But it is Cincinnati, okay? And I would say, would it surprise me if the Bengals ever picked up and left? No. Would it surprise me if the Reds up and left? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Or absolutely it would, because it's
So
similar
the Cincinnati Reds, man.
Similar to the Cleveland Browns when they left. It's a strong fan base. It's diehards. It's the Reds are the same way. You get rid of the Reds, you're not going to take them out of Cincinnati. They're going to.
Yeah, I remember my retail days. We had a conversation with hat sales and one of the most marketable branded hats out there. And this was before the Cubs won their World Series. And at Lids we were talking about what, since Boston won the World Series, what's the next best team to win a World Series for moving product, which all the fans will come out and collectively we all agree the Chicago Cubs. If they win, you're going to sell so much product because it's been so long. So many people are going to come out of the woodwork. And I threw out to this group that behind the Cubs, I said, I think it's the Reds. And the group laughed at me, and I said, no, trust me, guys. I travel all over the country with this company, and I see a Reds hat every city I go to. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. I see Reds fans. I go to Toronto. I see Reds fans. I'm out in California often. I see Reds fans. I said, guys, Reds fans are more than you realize. That Cincinnati Reds brand, it's the big red machine. There's still a lot of generational people that are still around from that still love that. I was like, you guys are sleeping on that. So, we had this great debate, and some of our buyers went back and they pulled up sales. And the number 2 hat in all of baseball was the red Cincinnati Red. The Yankees was number 1, and the margin was
Huge.
insane. So you take like the top 7 and combine them, and you're still not to the Yankees field hat. Number 2 in this country, most sold hats was the Cincinnati
Really?
Reds. The red hat with the white C. When they went with the black bill and they flipped it up a little bit. So the red hat with the white C.
Just the straight,
was the
regular.
number 2 most sold field hat in the country.
Interesting.
And I was like, so the Reds have a national following, a national brand. The money's there. It's under the radar. And obviously, living here, we're in our Ilion Omar bubble, right?
Right.
Of what we see and what we're exposed to. And it's just get out, travel more, see more, and pay attention. And it's like, So I guarantee if the Reds put a product on the field, sales would be incredible. It would be insane.
Absolutely.
Because there's a diehard fan base here. Still, we're just frustrated with them.
But you had the last 2 years where we weren't really able to entirely go to games until like later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a couple months in, I think, last year before they finally just said, hey, everybody, if you can buy a ticket, you can come in. So like 2 years ago they made the playoffs, and they were a pretty good team.
Yep.
And nobody was allowed to go watch them. Last year, they didn't make the playoffs. They were close. According to this year's rules, they would have made it last year. And it was like you just wanted to see that group together one more time for a full year. And then I think if they would have failed, okay, fine, then it would make more sense. They didn't really give any opportunities for it to make any sense. It was just this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone.
Right.
And I get it, like you're thinking a lot with your heart, but then you're looking at the product on the field, and it's like, okay, yeah, you've got 2 young starting pitchers, but then in Votto's going to be around, India, Stevenson, but like after that, like what?
Right.
Like what makes me think that you're going to add more to that? Your bullpen sucks. Your bench is terrible. Like you're basically going to get your manager fired before time is up here. And probably I would say give him maybe another month.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
if it continues to go this way, like it was funny because they had not even had a lead since they had won the last game against Atlanta.
Right.
Last night, they're in San Diego. They get a home run in the first inning. Hey, they got a lead. It didn't even last till the bottom of the next inning before they quickly gave up the lead. So it's discouraging. It's discouraging. You want them to play well. Last year there was, the place I took the kids down there a couple of times, and it's packed, and everybody's having a blast, having a great time, and like you just can't do that because when they suck, like honestly, like I don't go down there.
No.
Like I'd have to get somebody have to give me Diamond Club seats or like. Hey, you want to go down on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Like I do that, but like the game doesn't interest me. It's going to have to be something else that gets me actually down there.
Yeah, it would have to be awfully enticing to make that happen. So I'm looking up the MLB hats. So that was 12 years ago when I left Lids, and Reds field hat, this hat here, the red. So right now, I'm looking up. I pulled it, and they're not in the top 10 anymore with sales because for whatever reasons that their product isn't as desirable in a lot of fan base. But it's the most iconic hats in baseball history. Number 1, Yankees.
Yankees.
Number 2, Dodgers.
Okay.
Number 3,
I was going to ask where that one came
That-
in. The Chicago, the
Old English
Chicago,
socks.
Yep.
Number 4, the Oakland A's.
That interests me.
The green with the yellow bill. I think
Yeah.
that's just. I mean, you see it, you just think.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even see a hat with that color scheme without thinking A's. I think.
That's true.
Number 5, your lovely Cincinnati Reds.
Where's Atlanta fall in that? I would think they've got to be. There you go.
Number 6.
Number 6.
That's it's iconic.
Phillies.
Phillies. I'm thinking Detroit's should be soon because that Tom Selleck D.
That's true.
Cardinals. That surprises me.
See, that I don't see that.
I don't see that.
Maybe if it was the old SNL, like I would think the Yankees.
That's classic. I would
there.
put that in my top 5. My top 5.
Yeah.
That hat. Yankees, Mets, Detroit, Reds, Cubs.
I think next week, let's have that discussion. Top baseball hats
I mean, the Yankees hat, it's almost a brand, not a freaking.
per Tom and Q. Got it. That's going to be on next week's
So
discussion.
Red Sox. What's going on in
So-
Bearcat world? Go ahead.
Let's go to that in a second.
Okay.
So let's take a look at 2 organizations where you had a couple of years ago you had the Reds doing everything right. Right? You had the Reds. Everybody trusted the Reds. Everybody loves what the Reds are doing. You know, we're putting new stuff in the stadium. We've got Joey Votto and we've got Jay Bruce, and then everything's just running good. We're making the playoffs. We got a chance to win the World Series, and I still believe the year they lost to the Giants, they would had they just been able to close one game out, they would have won the World Series. I believe that. And it takes you to basically what's been our topic for the last 8 months: the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, they can't do anything right. They have nothing but criminals. They're trouble. They've got no poise. They draft terribly. The guys cheat. Blah 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 blah. So now they're coming off an AFC Championship, a run to the Super Bowl. Now talking about building an indoor bubble. They've signed free agents. They've got the marquee quarterback. They've got great players around him. They had a bad line, but that bad line was a Super Bowl caliber line that they made better.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how in fandom, how that just goes from here to here. Like, just that scale of...
Alexa, play Paula Abdul. What have you done for me lately? Oh, Janet Jackson. I'm sorry. What's up, girl? Sorry, Janet.
But
I didn't know she sang this
so
song.
if you look at cities,
Yep.
so let's name cities, major league cities, whatever sport you want to have, and you have this scale, okay? Whereas you have good team. They maybe don't win every year,
Yep.
but there's trust there, right? On a scale of like, hey, professionally, this team, this city gets it done.
Yep.
Okay.
Not everybody can be Boston.
So that's one. Boston, right? They have a balance there where like every team that they have
Is relevant.
is relevant. The Knicks aren't very good in basketball. The Jets and Giants are pretty terrible in football. The Mets are terrible. The Yankees are usually relevant to some extent. So I'm going to take New York out.
Yep.
You'd have to throw LA in the mix. You got the Dodgers. You got the Rams. They are always relevant.
Yeah. You got Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah, Lakers too.
Yeah, they're yes. They will have us team in Ossport that's relevant. And even if it's off, you're going to have UCLA. You're going to have USC. They've got enough powerhouse there to keep their sports motor moving all year because they are relevant all seasons.
So Houston, they'd be out. Dallas, no. Chicago, no.
Outside of Dallas, no. I think Cowboy season's 24/7.
Yeah,
365.
I mean you got the Rangers, right? You got the Rangers,
Right.
you got the Astros. Atlanta, they're terrible at football. Miami, no.
This is Boston and L.A.
Buffalo.
Detroit, but no.
I don't know enough about hockey. At least not yet. I'm learning.
They hit or miss.
Green Bay. You got Milwaukee. They're good in baseball. You've got Green Bay, good at football. I would throw them in that mix.
How close is Green Bay to Milwaukee?
I think it's an hour.
That's close. That's close.
Minnesota, you got the Twins, and you got the Vikings. I'd say they're
mediocre.
Yeah, at least relevant. I don't know, not enough evidence on Las Vegas. St. Louis, no, they don't have a football team. Pittsburgh, no, because the Pirates rarely are good. So it's rare. My point of that is it is very rare to have two balanced teams. So maybe we are asking a lot in regards to them to kind of lock horns and be good at the same time.
Like, it's tough to find in college where you got a great football and basketball. Like, it's tough anywhere.
Yeah, and like if you're talking about the NFL, a lot of that is based on who is under center.
Yeah.
You know, if you're talking about success, who's under center? It's rare that you have a good quarterback or a great quarterback and the team sucks. That's why I'm skeptical on a Matt Ryan to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Because I think at one time he was a great quarterback.
Now he's average.
Now he's just average, right?
Yeah.
Because if he was that great of a quarterback, he would be able to lift.
But he does have a tremendous running back now.
He does, which
We'll
is
see.
again.
If
but
that
then
frees
you become
him up to
you become
the
that
John Elway end of the career.
Yeah, but I just don't know if those two are kind of. I think that's more of an apples and oranges type deal, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at those types of teams that are relevant, we talked about our cool meter, right? The cool quarterbacks. Those teams are relevant. Those teams surround themselves with people. Guys that aren't cool. Baker Mayfield.
I wonder what he's thinking now, because he was all in your face with Colin Cowherd. Now it's kind of like, well, maybe Colin was right.
Yeah.
maybe I am arrogant. And I got great commercials. Baker, your commercials they lead the path.
So the Browns didn't extend him, or they didn't get a long-term deal done with him. They didn't even try. But they also picked up his
capitalism wins.
They also picked up his option though for $19 million. So if he gets traded, which $19 million, okay, that should get you a good starting quarterback, right? So if he gets traded, that other team has to pick up $19 million, which would say, I'm trading for a good quarterback. No team is willing to trade for him at $19 million.
No.
So what is the league, what is the market telling you about your value? So at what point are the Browns just going to go and release him? Has to be soon, right? You've got 2 weeks until the draft. Has to be soon. On that same side, and I'm not good with like knowing the cap number, but that's got to be a pretty big cap number.
Yeah.
Look at the 49ers. You've got Deebo Samuel right now holding out, wanting a new contract. If anybody should get a new contract, it's him. Like, he did everything but punt for them last year. Like, can you hook the guy up?
Yeah.
Like, give him something?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a new contract. Well, in the same, they haven't let or traded Jimmy G yet, who's on a pretty good contract. Same thing. The market is saying Jimmy G is not worth the $25 million or whatever it is that he's getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So again, why are these teams not? If I'm the 49ers, why aren't you releasing him and turning that money into your dude? You're telling me that Trey Lance, basically a rookie, he can't use Deebo Samuel in the offseason working out? Dude's not going to show up to anything until he gets his contract.
Right.
Cut Jimmy G, sign Deebo back to what makes him happy, and let's roll with it. I'm becoming more frustrated with the Bengals not re-signing Jesse Bates. I want to know what that plan is. That doesn't sound like that's anywhere even close to happen. So it's interesting. Now, on to, you had talked about this year we were very fortunate to have just a tremendous football season in Cincinnati, where we had two teams It was awesome. Saturday, you're getting hyped up for the Bearcats. Sunday, you're getting hyped up for Burrow and the Bengals. A couple years ago, Bearcats were close to landing one of the best players to come out of the city in a long time. Ohio State was close to landing him.
Yeah.
He ends up going to LSU in Corey Kiner and didn't really get the opportunities to where it was amazing. And, you know, if you know some people, like I know some people, and, like, they had said, he'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. It was such a perfect fit from
White
the
Oak
beginning.
Productions. Tommy
Yeah.
Watkins called it.
Called it. Mike Miller said he called it. Heck, I called it. It was too perfect.
Yeah, how cool was that? Just to pause on that thought right there of Ivan Pace Jr. came back, Connor come back. Like the fact that Cincinnati, which is one of the top 5 or 6 hot spots for high school football in the nation, is getting kids to stay here. Like the Cincinnati Bearcats are.
Why do you think they're
that
successful?
appealing and that appetizing for the elite players in this country to say, you know what? I can stay in my backyard and play for a top 25 team in the country. Top 10.
Top 10.
Top
Or top 5.
Right? Top 4.
Jinx.
So, Luke, thanks for staying.
What's amazing is he's the one who got it. You had such a bad coach in Tuberville before.
Yeah.
Who, like, if you would just realized that all you had to really do was recruit heavy in your backyard.
Your own backyard.
Brian Kelly did it.
Yep.
Butch Jones, to an extent, did it. Tuberville? No, I'm bigger than that. I'm going to go get guys from Alabama, and I'm going to go get guys from down south, SEC country. No, you didn't.
I'm still hoping Don Brown for UMass starts to come to Ohio and get some Ohio boys up there.
Going to have a hard time fighting Cary and Ohio State for those guys.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Yeah, that battlefield is thick.
And it's crazy to me, and like I said, we all kind of saw it, but it seemed like such a perfect fit. And you almost feel like anybody that's good here in Cincinnati, like, where you never felt that way before, you always felt like, oh, if he goes to Ohio State, like, oh man, like, cool, he's like, there's a guy from Cincinnati playing on Ohio State, like, and that's how I always felt like before. Like, I remember Mark Edwards in Norwood. He went to Norwood High School.
Notre Dame.
Went to Notre Dame, and like it was cool to see like this big program, and then underneath like Cincinnati, like Norwood, Ohio, whatever, whether it was Coleraine, whether it was St. X, whatever, name your elder, it didn't matter. It was like they were from Cincinnati. It's like, oh, that's cool. Where now, like, you have this program in Clifton where I'd love to know the number of whether they're stars or backups or just on the team. Like, what is the amount of kids at UC on the football team that are from Cincinnati?
I don't know. I would, because that'd be a minute to go through. And I don't want to do it right here, right now, but I mean, I'll figure it out and we'll.
Brian Kelly hired Kerry Combs to do one thing:
recruit the backyard.
Recruit the backyard. Ohio State took him away, so now that he could recruit the backyard,
a bigger backyard,
and more, because they knew he was good at it. He comes back. Recruit the backyard. So they're going to continue, as long as that coaching staff continues on that path of doing that, they're going to be extremely successful. What was amazing to me, I think if you were on the outside looking in and not sitting here inside the 275 loop, inside Southwest Ohio, and you saw yesterday Corey Kiner's letter saying basically, thank you LSU, but I'm out. Right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay. Man, I hope he goes to UC. Like,
isn't that funny? He left Brian Kelly at LSU.
Yeah. Yes. Triple H said it best. Brian Kelly, suck it. Right? And so, like, you were kind of waiting, like, okay. Like, I didn't, because originally I thought he was going to stay at LSU one more year, at least, to kind of see what the Brian Kelly thing was like. And then, like, the transfer portal, it's taken a lot of, like, guys a long time. Like, they do their research. I'm like, okay, he went to LSU. Like, maybe he's going to see where his best fit is. Maybe he'll end up back at UC.
Yeah.
But does he go to, like, an Ohio State or, because as hard as it is, it's still very difficult to compare like UC with a Notre Dame and LSU. Ohio State.
I agree.
Because you're talking about, like we were talking about the baseball hats, right? And like
Yep.
these iconic things
Football
that are there.
pro-
right?
yes,
And it's like it was literally like an hour, and it's like, oh, I'm going to UC. Like that wasn't even a transfer portal. That was like
Yeah, it was like 2 hours, right? It was quick.
like oh yeah,
But to see Cincinnati go toe-to-toe with Alabama last year
yeah,
was kind of cool to see. And the year before, go toe-to-toe with Georgia.
right.
It's like, all right, they're
So
more than
possible.
relevant.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And moving to the Big 12 is only going to help that. It's extremely exciting. That's what made like this year was so awesome, because it was Saturday, it was Sunday, and it was just football. It was on TV. It was big programs. It was big time NFL. This year's going to be just as good, like Saturday. And then you got the Bengals, who are probably, that's another thing I'm waiting for, and that should probably come out, I would guess within the week, like the actual dates and days and times of the games, because I would think that the Bengals being in the Super Bowl, they're going to get quite a bit of primetime games.
Yeah.
I would think UC, I would think that they're going to get maybe not primetime as much, but they're going to be seen a lot more even than they were probably last year, the year before, so on and so forth. So it's
Right.
it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Coach Ayers said it best, and this year I'll believe it.
Baseball starts.
Baseball
just so football.
starts, so football can
Follow it.
follow it. So I think that's all we got today.
That's it, man.
We did it. We successfully made it happen.
Yeah,
For-
timing's perfect. I just got notified that our game's canceled today, so I got to reschedule practice and stuff like that and get all that going.
So freedom wins, freedom rings, capitalism at its finest. USA, USA, USA. We are out of here.
Peace.